Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum, and in this game you'll see an unlikely pair of steel balls and fire badgers winning against scorpions. Let's go. Alright, at the bottom here we have a 201 player playing as a giant specialist, and he's up against Nightlight playing as a fortified specialist. In round 1, Nightlight is putting the steel balls very close to the mid, and he's doing a very classic steel ball fang aggro on the side. Whenever you're playing aggro on one side, just want to make sure that whatever unit is in the center, you just want to scoop them over so that it's directly on the line in the middle. The reason for that is that if your opponent decides to put 2 crawlers, let's say the crawler's behind the tower, if you have units in the middle, the crawler will actually run towards the middle. Even if this is crawler all the way in the back corner here, that is going to run towards the middle as well. If you have fans right here, and if your opponent has crawler all the way up against the back line, they will actually just run towards the tower. But for this round, there's not going to be any crawlers for his opponent, and I think everything is going to be okay. No chaff clear though, but the reason that players do like the fans steel ball carry is that they're using the fans as their initial chaff clear. Right now, there isn't that big of an issue because there's really no chaff. But the problem right now, I think, we're going to see the timing of this tower. I think it's going to be pretty good. With 4 steel balls still left over, as long as you can get through that arc light very quickly, I think you still have a pretty good chance. Alright, looking pretty good. It's going to be a skip here for our blue player. Haste module is pretty good. Laser sight, interesting. Laser sight on the steel balls, okay. So we were looking into a pretty aggressive steel ball, so definitely not going to be using them as tank, especially if you have laser sight. I think the idea is just to take range later on. Whenever you're running into steel ball aggro, I think, or any sort of aggro on one side, at turn 2, if you're just using turn 2 as a chaff round, that means you should have 200 left over. And normally what I do on turn 2 is take 2 chaff, and then I take oil from the tower. A single oil right here is going to do a lot of damage for 2 rounds, and that allows you to build the rest of your board. For your opponent, whenever you, like the aggro player, their goal is actually to take early wins so that they can probably end the game in 5 to 6 rounds. So you can't let that happen. As a defender, you need to stop their initial advance where you don't have a lot of units in the right place yet. So oil is a great method to kind of carry you through that transition. Alright, this round is playing out very similarly to the last round. We still have steel balls coming in. I think these ranged steel balls are actually doing a lot of work. They're latching onto units a lot sooner. But it looks like we might just barely hold here. Let's see. See how good this steel ball is. Yeah, it's gonna get it. Oh, just barely holding. Oh, never mind. We still got units on the side. So this round, I think it's gonna go. Yeah, it's gonna go to blue. Alright, round 3, we got Scorpion. This is the best counter to medium-sized units, and is especially deadly into steel balls. 2 of the steel balls has already leveled, which means level 1 Scorpion, as of right now, still one shot, I think. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's still one shot a level 2 steel ball. So he doesn't need the level 2 Scorpion. I think he could just get by with the level 1. Red actually took the fire badgers and is buying 3 more fire badgers instead of leveling his steel balls. I would love to see this level laser sight steel ball being leveled. It's just going to do a lot of work. Fire badger steel ball into scorpions is usually not a great idea. So the MMR of this game, I think it's around 1500. We're going to see how this works out. there is a opportunity for the steel balls to work. So as you can see, if you spread your steel balls wide enough, every time the scorpion shoots, it's only going to get about 2 to 3 steel balls. As long as you get one steel ball charging up to the maximum, you should be able to take down the scorpion. So what that means is during that time, let's say the single steel ball charging up to the maximum, the scorpion is going to fire at least 3 times. Which means only one of those times should be allowed onto the steel balls. Or if you're getting 2 shots onto the steel balls, you better make sure the steel balls are spread out enough, right? So there is a window, but it's just such a small window. Now, it does help if your steel balls are leveled, not because you're going to survive more shots, because remember, every level of scorpion, every single level of scorpion deals every 2 levels of steel balls. So level 1 scorpion, 1 shots level 2 balls, level 2 scorpion, 1 shots level 4 balls. So in terms of the breakpoints, you're never really going to outscale unless you just have like this Chad steel ball. But definitely level your steel ball up. Why? Because every time you level, they take half as much time, almost half as much time, because there's a channeling mechanism to kill a scorpion. So if you're at the equal level, I think you can kind of get away, as long as one of your balls are going to get up to maximum to kill the scorpion, less than 3 shots. All right. Lots of chaff coming on, so there's like layers of chaff. For those players that's in the 1500 range, one thing to note is that the arc light is not the most efficient unit when there are so many chaff on the line. So whenever you're going into a headbutting situation and your opponent just spams like all kinds of crawler, do consider either switching out of the arc light into a Vulcan or a Wraith, or even a Tarantula. Right now, Tarantula with high explosive is very strong on the line. I think it's one of the best chaff clear if you don't need range. So it's a huge round here for our blue player. He's already up to 4 scorpions, and this is just so much damage into medium-sized units. Red player taking 2 efficient light manufacturing, which means his chaff units are now 0 cost and his steel balls are now 100. And he's only unlocked 4 units. He's got steel balls, fire badger, fangs, and crawler. So if he can survive, let's say this round really, he is at a huge advantage because he can essentially casually drop 3 squads of crawler every single turn and then use the rest of the money to level and to get technology. Or he can get steel balls and just take mech div, right? That's going to do even more damage. So we'll see if he's able to survive this round. I mean, this is looking a little rough. 4 scorpions, lots of chaff. I'm not too sure. There is one opportunity, which is at the bottom, right? This scorpion is going to be stuck shooting at this crawler for a while, but it is a level 2 scorpion. I just don't see how, like these fire badgers is going to kill this level 2 scorpion. Good missiles, though, at the front. And this level 2 scorpion gets latched on immediately. And of course, we got fence running in, so there's no more scorpions on that side. And here's where you can see the weakness of the arc lights is simply not efficient enough to get rid of all that chaff running at them at the same time. And we got a single steel ball onto the tower. We only have 1 scorpion left over, and that is being latched on. And that means a red player survives this round. All right. So what's the answer to Red's position? I think, again, oil. Super deadly. Imagine if we just have oil right here. Right? All these steel balls will be stuck. In fact, the fire badger might even ignite the oil. So if you put some crawlers here and just kind of put the oil here, it's going to create a lot of chaos. This round is going to be a skip for Nightlight. And as far as items go, it's going to be a personal shield for the level 3 Scorpion. And it's also taking shield defense. Truth to be told, shield defense is not that great into fire badgers. I mean, yes, you double defense health, but fire badgers do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time, especially if you're level 4. So they're not actually the best way of dealing in terms of providing chaff. So speaking of chaff, I had a viewer asked me in my latest tutorial video when I was talking about chaff lines and chaff wars, and he said, if you just keep putting down chaff, wouldn't you get punished in the later rounds by a fire Vulcan, right? Incendiary round Vulcan, which is like Stonecaller with fire? And the answer is yeah, if you're just gonna keep putting like these kind of chaff. And it's the same situation here. If all you have is small chaff like these, it's just going to get hard countered by units that are specialized in small chaff like this. So what is the answer here? I think is now to consider using vertical sledgehammers, preferably with armor, to deal with these incoming line of just units, right? Fangs are not going to be able to hold them off long enough, right? So right now he's losing the chaff war. There's still crawlers running around. The scorpions are still shooting at crawlers, but the steel balls are already locking onto the arc lights and very soon locking onto the scorpions. Okay, another very close round here. We still have this level 3 scorpion left over, which means that should be enough to deal with the rest of this army. I mean, it's going to be very close, but I can't imagine our red player getting ahead. I mean, aside from his zero cost chaff, but his composition is just not that great into scorpions. One thing he can pivot into very quickly is he can go into level 2 phoenixes. They pack quite a punch, and there's just not a lot of anti-air on the board here. Melting point is taken for our red player, and for our blue player, I'm not sure. Maybe a melting point as well and just go multi-melter. Multi-melter could actually be pretty good. Now we have mech div on the steel balls. Melting point is just holding the fort all the way on the other side. I don't think the melting point is that useful. I get there is a level 6 rhino potentially being chosen, but if you sell the melting point and just add 3 more packs of level 2 steel balls, I mean, trust me, level 2 steel balls only cost 200, so you definitely will have the money for it. It's enough to deal with a level 6 rhino. Now what I'm really concerned about is the mech div steel balls. Last round we already saw a significant weakness in chaff clear for our blue player. He's not putting down oil, right? There are some very weird missile interceptor. I think this is more for just sentry missiles instead of stormcallers because there wasn't any. Anyways, so back to blue. So last round, clearly chaff clear problem. He is continuing to ask scorpions, which I kind of understand, but I feel like instead of getting scorpions, get vertical tanks. What sort of tech do you have in your tanks? You do have mech rage, you don't have armor, which is a shame, but that's okay. Buy level 2 sledgehammers, give them mech rage, right? These tanks are going to hold up these steel balls for so long, allowing your scorpions to do the work. Because all you need is just a few seconds to get out 2 shots, and those steel balls combat efficiency would just drastically decrease. I mean, looking at the bottom here, right? This scorpion is still shooting at crawlers. Up here, we still have crawlers and fangs, and then of course there's mech div, so every time you kill a steel ball, there's going to be more crawlers tying up even more time from these scorpions. And there's no late arriving chaff clear whatsoever. There's no arc lights. I don't even think the arc lights are even ranged, which means they're the first one to go. Alright, we got a big rhino here. It's going to steal one of these AM devices. But definitely did not get his money's worth. And now all of a sudden the board becomes very difficult for our blue player. You could try with the Elite Mustangs. They are a decent chaff clear into both the like the initial chaff crawler fangs, but also the mech div steel balls. There is a concern with the steel balls just taking armor, but when you go Mustangs, I think what you want is just take range so the Mustangs stay on the same line as your Scorpions. And just do chaff clear. So the Scorpions can survive and they can deal with the steel balls fairly well if you can clear out the chaff with them, right? Phantom Rays. I don't think Phantom Rays is the right choice here, even if you have cloaking, because I mean Phantom Rays with cloaking on level 1 deals 1,574 damage. that is just not enough, right? Like the steel ball has 28,000 HP at level 4, and it's got 2 packs of them, and there's gonna be more. So I'm not sure. Battleship at the back is very potent. A lot of times the new players don't realize that this is an option, but the new players themselves don't actually take that card. But it is a very powerful card. Not only you get a battleship, which if it survives, it takes 350 HP. But when you put them in a corner like this, you should be able to get tower. This particular battleship, I'm not too sure. I think this is just going to run forward. The only AA on this entire board, if you don't count as 2 squads of fans for red player, is this level 3 melting point. And frankly, I don't know what the melting point is doing there. I think he might be thinking at some point, if the steel balls aren't going to cut it, you can use the melting point to counter the scorpions. Alright, tower went down. This is a very scary moment. Now, the steel balls themselves do have energy absorption, so when you have 28,000 HP, you can actually tank one shot from the scorpion. So what that means is that this steel ball, if it's latching onto the level 2 scorpion, the scorpion is actually not able to kill it. So, alright, first we're going to see it's going to latch onto the tower. Oh man, this steel ball is going to kill everything here, isn't it? Alright, let's see. Can he latch on? The second tower latching on to the level 3 scorpion. It's going to heal all the way back to full. It's going to latch once again onto a level 3 scorpion. Healing back to full once again. It's going to get again a level 1 scorpion. And this time, simply not charging fast enough because we got a 3 squads of phantom rays and a bow shooting at it. So that was just a little rough. And now we got the raid boss here. Melting point into phantom rays. Ooh, these movements. That is a tanky unit. I think he will eventually die. Yeah, but that was a tanky unit. Alright, we got another unit drop. Overlord is offered. I think Overlord is great for both sides. Last round, we saw how effective that corner Overlord was for blue. And right now, we have Overlords coming in again for our red player with Launcher Overload. Launcher Overload is one of the more efficient ways of dealing with Phantom Rays. Right now, these Phantom Rays are double teched, which is a little curious. Usually, you don't take shield unless you know your opponent has Marksman or Phoenix, because you much rather have more Phantom Rays than taking the second technology. And look at this. The same turn that red is taking Launcher Overload, we have blue taking triple teched Wasps. And I think what he was trying to do is trying to use this as a form of chaff clear, so that when the steel balls come in, is able to clear those effectively. But I think the issue here is, though, first of all, we'll get fans at the front, but most importantly, Launcher Overload, Overlords, they are just too good. The amount of damage in a short amount of time is just too high. Alright, we're going to watch these wasps disappear in the first few seconds. There they go. Once the wasps are gone, I think the Phantom Rays are next. We got this huge steel ball still coming in. Do they have double shot? No, the Scorpions do not have double shot, which means at some point if the Scorpion is unable to out-level the steel balls, he can actually tie them up and forcing them to take 2 more shots. And once again, we still have crawlers coming in from Mechabellum, and a tower went down. Lots and lots of boats and damage just coming in from all directions. Is this going to be lethal? Not quite. So there will be one more round here. Advanced Power System, I think, is probably a great card here for red player. Efficient Giant is just way too late. I mean, so far you don't actually have any Giant, which means you have to unlock something. And why are you taking this card if you're not ever going to get this benefit back, right? Remember, you have to buy 3 Giants to break even. And then the 4th Giant, you're going to be making money. So, seeing how the game might just end, you're never going to get that benefit. So don't take that card if that's the situation. For our red player, It's just keep adding boats. There's no harm in adding boats. Right now, the only anti-air are these 3 marksmen and, of course, the 2 newly added boats. Our blue player added boats with Photon and also with Mothership. I think he's in kind of a panic mode at this point. He's not entirely sure what to do. And as sort of a panic button, he's trying to just get Photon onto his Wasp and hoping that his Wasp are surviving a little bit longer. It is the incorrect decision because, well, Steel Balls don't really care about Photon. And these Wasps, they're being shot at by Overlord. So no amount of Photon is going to save the Wasps. Alright, triple Overlords. That's it for all your spending. Yep, and that's just way too much chaff on the ground. And that's going to be GG. All right. So before we wrap this up, I do want to go back to one of the turns where I think Nightlight was very close to dying. So I think it was, what, turn 5? Let's see, turn 6? We could probably go with turn 7 if you want to. I think there was another round where he took a little bit more damage as well. Okay, round 9. So round 9, we got the unit drop here. Let's play the round 9 one more time, and then we're going to see how we can win with our blue player. There's only 860, right? So theoretically, we should be able to win this without a lot of problems. Okay. So what is the issue here, right? The issue here is we have too much chaff. And because we have too much chaff, these steel balls are actually doing a lot of work. So we can fix that very quickly with just some oil. So we're going to jump in for our blue player here. All right. Between our 3 units, the Wasp doesn't even have range. I feel like it's just going to get slaughtered by the boats. So I think the boats is probably the best option here. We're going to take the boats. We are going to add oil because one of the bigger problems is just killing off the chaff here. So let's just get rid of all the chaff. We're going to add oil. We're going to add another pack of crawler here with the mobile beacon. Why do you need a mobile beacon? Well, I want to make sure that we're actually getting the oil ignited and also pulling hopefully some of this crawler over to the side. Let's add some more boats. We are going to give it chain gun. Gonna take range. Maybe taking another boat. We'll see. I'm going to put some missiles here. Missiles already on the back. We're going to take these crawlers away. We got temp range. Maybe just put some shields down. Got 10 seconds left over. Is there anywhere else I can drop a missile? Maybe drop it like right there in the middle. Actually, we don't even need to drop a missile, so maybe just drop it close. Never mind. Alright, so we got Chingam boats. Should be able to clear some of these scorpions. The fire is being ignited. Okay, so we still got lots of steel balls left over, which is a problem. Alright, Phantom Ray starting to do their work. Okay, we got wasps. We got a single boat. And of course, we got the raid boss right here. All right. Not quite enough to kill, but I think it's definitely on the right track, because the next turn, you can simply just add more chaff here. You should probably take range on the arc light so they're even more efficient. You need an arc light down here in case the steel balls pop, right? And then it's just a line of missiles. That's all you need. Now imagine if the oil was used instead on like turn 8. It was used even sooner, before we have the triple boat drop. I think last round, what's really holding us back was just the boat drop. It was such a powerful pivot. But if you had oil, like say on turn 6, I think you'll be able to win this game. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see another one, here's one for you. And I will see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.